and I am your tour guide for today, as we take a last look at the world of the Echonet foolcraft server. Now this may not take a moment too long to load the world, or maybe it will. It's silly like that. But in front of us we see one of the nicer little builds the server has seen in its time, along with a rather fancy waystone point. This is the home of Michiana, one of the somewhat longer standing members of the server. We enter the home into a rather quaint little kitchen, broom closet, a small living room, and a rather nice hidden entrance to the crafting cave. Not sure if she'd call it the same thing, but it's a rather nice little place, finely decorated, with a way further downward to what was, or still is, a small bookbinder. This build altogether is not the largest build the server has seen, but it certainly is a nice one. Now then, moving onwards, let us head to the green. Was a nice architectural little piece built by one of the server mods, Keyblade Phantom, as well as one of the regular players, DGS. It's built with rather dark tones, but no less beautiful than any other build on the server. We'll come to that building later. Now the next stop, we have, well, the community hut. So it is certainly a bit more than a hut, in which we have the community nether portal, the server rules, as well as certain other reminders as to not crash the server continuously, which still happens far too often, and the community storage, as well as the community kitchen, and a little gag that has been running since probably week 1 of the server, which being the spawners that you really shouldn't feast, lest you end up like one of its meals. Also, sadly enough, the owner of the server, Fabri, has ended the same way after he told his community that the server was done. Now, there's nothing really much else here. Just as mentioned before, the community will find storage and get shoes. Moving on, once we get out of the bloody house. Sorry for the swearing, by the way. We have the rather small base of Boss 2009. The sadly unfinished base of Ergulus, which we'll be visiting in depth a little later. And we have the community enchanting area, brewing area, and as far as I'm aware, the community with a cage. Fully set up to kill a wither whenever you bloody please. Moving on further, let's actually visit. No, let's keep going over here. Over here we have the spawn-centric farm area, where most every possible mystical agriculture crop is present, as well as the obvious necessary basics of every Minecraft game, wheat and sugarcane. Further on the left hand side we have once again one of my own builds, Bushwood's Corner Cafe. The door would open. Again, sorry for the swearing. Sometimes I'm getting annoyed rather easily. Again, this is quite nicely. This is nicely furnished, not just alone by me, but once again with the help of one of the server mods, Keyblade Phantom. On the inside of the shop we have, obviously, everything anyone could ever wish to purchase at a cafe and confectionery. Breakfast foods, sweets of any kind, a number of smoothies, as well as the typical tea, coffee, hot chocolate and milkshake collection. In the back room, obviously, once again a kitchen, and someone was nice enough to donate a chicken nut stove to provide the shop with more cake. Now, just give me a second to sleep off the night. And we'll be on to the next build. Also in the vicinity of spawn, and once again managed by one of the server admins, Keyblade Phantom. We have the fishery slash fishing hut. Once more nicely decorated with decocraft, chiseled carpets, and altogether rather fine decor with help as well of Melissa's doors and architecture craft. Going onwards, we have one of the biggest completed server builds, a temple to the goddess of Echonet, which some of you who have seen the Michiana season 1 and 2 by Captain Sparkles and friends, was the goddess of balance and arguably nature, which is consisted in most of the decor in the build, as you see. The top floor is largely decorated as kind of a small search and prayer area where offerings to the goddess can be made. Moving on Now we see in the distance the community mob grinder slash loot bag farm, and now we move on to Ergula's sadly unfinished castle, which was built using chisel and bits in a large quantity with amazing effects, may I add. And it was a nice looking built with sandstone and I'd say flat colored blocks. Sadly enough, as mentioned before, this base never saw completion and it is largely just a hollow husk of what it could have been had the server had the chance to run longer. Moving back over towards spawn, we sadly have another great grand build that never saw its completion. Started and left behind by Corvius, as well as his more or less reliable friend, whose name sadly I never corked. The build centered around a massive redwood tree that, from other people I heard, took about a week to collect the saplings for to grow it, since redwood's natural spawning had been disabled. And moving back towards spawn, we have the path to one more, well, not one more base, just another base, as this is far from the end. We have the walkway complete with fireworks to Fury Fiend's base. In a scenic flight over the forest, we come towards the Bridge of Fury, and at the end of it, what may seem like a small base, the entrance only to what was and will be remembered as Fury's base. Coming down the stairs that have been heavily designed with chisel and seared bricks, we have a smeltery area complete with Tinker's Council benches as well as decocraft and architecture craft. Further on, we then have the tech area with a refined storage system, all the machinery you could ever need in foolcraft, as well as the power generation via magmatic dynamos. And as the last piece, we have the previously mob farm that sadly had to be disabled for the sake of keeping the server running as long as it had. Now, moving on further, we have the last base of the tour. We'll be using commands for travel to, which is the home of the aforementioned Keyblade Phantom. Again, sadly, this build never saw completion. It was planned to be an elvish manor, built mainly by using the Botania living rock and the various botanic quartz. I'm sorry again for getting my tongue twisted so very often. Down further this way, we have the contemporary base of Key, which held the storage, his crafting, and everything else that one would have needed in the early stages of Warcraft. Sadly so, this is the end of the tour, as well as the end of the server. The community here was far from perfect, but it has been the best friends I have met in a very long time, and I'm looking forward to joining them once again on the soon-to-be-opened Craft of the Titans server from Echonet. With that, I bid you welcome. I bid you goodbye, my mistake, and in farewell to the server. May it rest in fucking pieces.